Muharram is the first month of the Islamic calendar. An important and tragic event took place on the 10th of Muharram that shook the Muslim world. It was the murder of Imam Hussein, his family members and his close friends by the army of Yazid. Hussein was one of the two grandsons of the Holy Prophet Muhammad and the younger of the two sons of Hazrat Fatima, the daughter of the Holy Prophet. There were many companions of Imam Hussein that sacrificed their lives on the day of Ashura. Many of them are not usually mentioned by their names in speeches. Many of them are not usually mentioned, although their sacrifices were no less important. The purpose of this presentation is to pay tribute and mention them by their names. It is also important to note that traditionally the number of martyrs in Karbala is stated to be 72. However, according to several accounts, there were more than 100 martyrs. Start of the Battle of Karbala. Umar ibn Sa'ad started the battle by first shooting an arrow towards the supporters of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Thereafter, his soldiers showered them with hundreds of arrows. This resulted in the death of many companions.
We have a story about John by Sister Azra Hassan Ali.
وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحابه. Assalamu alaikum. Once upon a time, two men were walking along the road to Kufa. One was a Muslim and the other was a non-Muslim. As they walked along, the non-Muslim asked his Muslim friend, "I am going further than Kufa, to a small village where I live. How about you?" The Muslim replied, "I live in Kufa, so that's where I'm going." They carried walking along, keeping each other company and talking about different things. When they got near Kufa, the non-Muslim turned into a side road which led to his small village far away. But he looked back and he saw that his Muslim friend was following him. "Where are you going?" he asked. "I thought you said you were going to Kufa where you lived." "Yes," said his Muslim friend, "but our Holy Prophet taught us that when two friends are going on a journey together, they must behave nicely towards each other. You gave me company on my journey, and now I'm going to walk with you for a little while to make the parting easier." The non-Muslim replied, "Your Prophet Muhammad taught people to have such amazing akhlaq. No wonder so many people want to be Muslim." And it so happened that many years later, that same non-Muslim went to Kufa on business, and he found out that that Muslim friend from a long time ago was Imam Ali alayhi salam. He became a Muslim straight away, and he became one of Imam Ali's bestest friends for a really long time. Imam Hussein also had a group of really loyal and loving friends who helped him any time he was stuck or in trouble. On the journey to Karbala, his friends knew that along the way they might face some really difficult times, but they still stuck by Imam's side and they did not leave him. The followers and friends of Imam Hussein were from all different backgrounds and walks of life, but all of them had something in common: their love for Imam Hussein and their faith in the fact that Imam Hussein was with the truth and he was walking on the right path. Some of his friends were free men, but some of them were slaves, but they still really wanted to be there. In fact, at one point in the journey, Imam Hussein said to them, "I am letting you free. You are no longer slaves and you don't have to be here. You can go back to your villages." But they said, "No, we don't want to leave. We are going to stick by your side and support you all the way." The only thing that they all wanted was the freedom to lay down their lives in defending Imam Hussein alayhi salam. One of Imam Hussein's really loyal friends was John bin Huwai. Imam Ali had given John as a slave to Abu Dharr Ghifari. Many years later, Abu Dharr freed him, but John stayed on with Abu Dharr as his companion because he had really grown to like him, and he believed that Islam was the right path. When Abu Dharr was sent to live outside of Medina, John went back to live with Imam Ali, who invited him to stay with him, and they became really good friends. And the more time he spent with Imam Ali, he learnt the meaning of the Holy Quran, and he also became a Hafiz-e-Quran and a Hadith, and that means that he learnt the whole of the Holy Quran and all of the Hadith off by heart. In Karbala, John always stayed by Imam Hussein's side. On the day of Ashura, John came to Imam and he stood next to him, but he didn't say anything. His habit was that he would never speak unless Imam Hussein spoke to him first. So Imam looked at John and said, "I know why you have come to see me. You've come to ask me whether you can go to the battlefield to fight for me. You have been such a good friend to me. I will not say no to you, and I will not deny you your martyrdom for Islam. Go, and Allah will be with you." John smiled happily. He went into the battlefield and he was so brave, and he recited a poem that said, "I am a soul willing to die for Allah, and I have a sword thirsty of the blood of the enemies of Allah. Before I die, I will fight with the enemies of Allah with my sword and with my tongue, and this is how I will serve the grandson of the Holy Prophet." John fought so bravely all the time reciting this poem. When he fell from his horse, he still carried on fighting with his tongue by reciting the poem until he breathed his very last breath. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Assalamu ala al-Hussein wa ala Ali ibn al-Hussein wa ala awlad al-Hussein wa ala ashab al-Hussein.
Now it's time to listen to poetry by Sister Malek Mehdi.
All this youngster cared for was the acceptance of Hussein, whom he would obey, wind, sun or rain. Not much is known about this young man, but his great deed will be remembered clan to clan. Whilst Hussein and his army were attempting to pray, in the bombardment of arrows Abdullah stood in their way. He was joined by many others, protecting dear Hussein. Even if he dropped down, he would toil every pain. He was struck countlessly, the worst in his eye. It was difficult protecting after, as he wouldn't be able to see. They finished their prayer. They ran to see the harm. Hussein noticed Abdullah and held him in his arms. His famous last words, a question was said. "Did I serve you well enough?" To heaven he was led.
Now it is time for Latmiyat by Sisters Sabiha and Sakina Rahmani.
I will come crawling to you, Hussein. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. They can cut my arms and my legs. They can take everything that I have. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. Every day it cuts me inside. I'm so very far from your side. I would give away these eyes just to catch a glimpse of your shrine. If I have to cross the seas and every desert in between, I will come crawling to you, Hussein. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. They can cut my arms and my legs. They can take everything that I have. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. I can tell you that I'm insane in the love of my master Hussein. In this universe there's no pain that can ever keep me away. Every inch that I come your way, every beat of my heart will say, I will come crawling to you, Hussein. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. They can cut my arms and my legs, they can take everything that I have. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. If I lose my family and friends, and my life's coming to an end, if I lose my feet and hands, if I can no longer stand, if I stumble 1,000 times, if the journey's 1,000 miles, I will come crawling to you, Hussein. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. They can cut my arms and my legs, they can take everything that I have. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. This is now my state, O Hussein. I am so overwhelmed with pain. Who can I turn to and explain all the grief that my heart now contains? How can I now call for help, pinning all my hopes on yourself? I will come crawling to you, Hussein. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. They can cut my arms and my legs, they can take everything that I have. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. On the plains of Karbala, when you said with a heart so scarred, Hal min nasiri yansuruna, who can help me in times so hard? Falling from the court to the floor, Ali Asghar gave this call. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. They can cut my arms and my legs, they can take everything that I have. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. I will come crawling to you, Hussein.
And today we're going to talk about another friend. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam had lots of friends who loved him a lot. Today we're going to talk about Burair Hamdani. Burair was famous for being a really strong and brave fighter. When he saw that Umar Sa'ad and his men had made up their mind to kill Imam Hussein and his kinsmen, he couldn't wait to go to the battlefield.
Who did everything for Hussein. He didn't care if he was killed. As he set off with Hussein to the battlefield Karbala, he didn't realize he wouldn't reach that far. Hussein stopped off at his father's Kufa. He sent Muslim to recruit gatherers.